There's a Samuejan who spoke after the game as well, and then there was Mohamed Salisu who also spoke.
He was on the score sheet.
Yes, he was on the score sheet.
Fantastic. We'll listen to these key voices. We'll come back in studio and then we will dissect all of that, and then also
this was our only chance
talk
to
tactics.
redeem ourselves. So we knew that this was our only chance to redeem ourselves, and I feel like it wasn't only me. I feel like everyone was committed to the course, and everyone was ready for the challenge. And obviously, you know, I've come a long way with the national team, you know, so it's part of me. The national team is part of me, and you know, I really take it to heart, obviously, and you know, I'm at a stage where like I needed to step up and to take more responsibilities, and you know, I was aware of that, you know, but obviously it all comes with hard work and determination, and obviously the encouragement from my family, my parents, my dad, my mom, my brother. So we knew that this was our only chance to redeem ourselves, and I feel like it wasn't only me. I feel like everyone was committed to the course, and everyone was ready for the challenge. And obviously, you know, I've come a long way with the national team, you know, so it's part of me. The national team is part of me, and you know, I really take it to heart, obviously, and you know, I'm at a stage where like I needed to step up and to take more responsibilities, and you know, I was aware of that, you know, but obviously it all comes with hard work and determination, and obviously the encouragement from my family, my parents, my dad, my mom, my brother. So we knew that this was our only chance to redeem ourselves, and I feel like it wasn't only me. I feel like everyone was.
I've seen this in a long time. You know, the boys have done well for themselves. You know, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Black Stars. Thank you to Ghanaians for their support. Today we came here to witness a victory match, but not this kind of margin. You know, so the boys have done so well for themselves. And I've seen this in a long time. You know, the boys have done well for themselves. You know, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Black Stars. Thank you to Ghanaians for their support. Today we came here to witness a victory match, but not this kind of margin. You know, so the boys have done so well for themselves. And
I think it was very good. They played really well, and I think some people who were not expecting to scored some goals, and was really excited. So I mean, the Ghana energy, I believe so. I believe if they continue with the energy they had today, I believe they will qualify.
One of the best performances I've seen since this coach came. Is the best performance I've seen. Nothing can happen. This one, the full assurance and trust. We have qualified. But by all means, we score Comoros here.
Today, the game, I really enjoyed the game. From the lineup, the pressing, how ability the players are doing, from the pressing. We have some players like Semenyon, very good today. I like the way he possessed the game. Then Kudus, then Kwasisibo. I really enjoy the game the way Ghana possess the ball. I want this game, they should carry this form each and every game. If Ghana, all these players are they form, we can go.
I think it was very good.
To the top of the hour, 9 a.m. We're back in studio. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We're talking Black Stars qualifying for the World Cup. We took a look at the highlights, some key voices as well. Now let's get into the meat of the matter proper. We're dissecting the performance yesterday. Akosia is here in the studio, as is Eric Mauna Egbeta. So we saw what happened yesterday. For those of you who missed it, Ghana put up a very stellar performance, and our World Cup fortunes are certainly looking up.
We're World Cup bound.
We're World Cup bound.
On the
I
brink
like that.
of qualification.
On the brink of qualification.
I know what the rules are and all of that, but come on, we're at the World Cup. I've been saying it. Look at the league law.
Okay.
It would take a miracle. You know, when we used to do permutations and say it would take a miracle for us to qualify.
Yeah.
It would take a miracle for us not to qualify because we're on top of the group.
Yeah.
If we lose the last game, which won't happen, they say football, anything can happen.
It's true.
But it won't happen.
But even if we do, we just have to lose by 3 goals.
We can lose
then
by 4.
Madagascar should win by 8 goals.
Even if it goes and were tied on goals head to head,
we go ahead of them.
We'll still go ahead of them based on head to head because we beat them.
Yes.
That's why I've been telling people that we have qualified.
No,
Ghana
but
is not going to lose.
You don't want to sound very
overly confident. No, this one we must be overly confident
because you still have 1 game to play.
No.
You have 3 points you would want to get.
Okay.
And this game against Comoros, I feel is very, very important.
Yes.
The 3 points here is important for their qualification or whatever. But then again,
to send a message.
Thank you.
We have to show them something small.
Yeah.
Because all these other countries like Madagascar, Central African Republic, and Comoros, in the past years, we have had difficulties playing against them. So if we have sorted out Central African Republic to let them know, listen, you've never been on our level, you had your time, but that time is over.
Yeah, it was a rough
and then for Madagascar, but like, listen, that whatever happened 2 years ago, a year ago, it's not happening again. Then against Comoros, we need to really state a better claim. Because if there's any team who have gotten a point from Ghana that they didn't deserve, it was Chad. Chad got a point out of Ghana.
When we
drew against them, exactly. So when you're playing against another team that really doesn't have anything to lose, there's a lot at stake for them. The only unfortunate thing for Comoros would be the fact that we're playing here in Ghana. And when we're playing in Ghana, we have our fans in the stadium. We have our motivation of qualifying to our 4th World Cup. The mission is bigger than someone just trying to state a claim that, okay, we did not finish our qualifiers on a bad note. We just needed more than they do at this point, but they may just want to, because sometimes when football stories are being written, these are the times where you get the best stories being written out of qualifiers. They'll just come here and probably surprise us. But even in the rarest case that we lose, even if we do, we could still qualify to the World Cup.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk tactics. What specific tactical changes did Coach Otto Addo implement that you think allow the Black Stars shine from start to finish?
I think one should be the fact that we're getting more set pieces now, and we've been very, very productive with the set pieces we get, especially for the corner kicks that we were getting in yesterday's game, which gave us some goals. And after the game, for instance, when Michael Otieje, who was in Morocco, just right by that corner, Paul was saying, he said that whenever Kudus went to play the corner, he would tell maybe the player he wanted to strike that ball to, that maybe go to the first pole, go to the second pole. That is where I would be kicking that ball. So, like, be there.
Yeah, I think
because
I
would
saw a video of him saying, Joe,
this is coming to you. So they know that, and they are taking the set pieces very, very important now. And also, I think the defenders, even though sometimes we see them making some mistakes, whenever now, I think ever since we introduced Benjamin Asari, the Accra Hearts-of-Oak goalkeeper, whose name all of a sudden have turned into Benjamin Clean Sheet Asari. Because in the polls of Ghana, the only time he's conceded against Chad and also at the Unity games that we hosted with 2 other countries in UK, Benjamin Asari has been very good. But the defenders have been very good for him. Whenever he's imposed, you see a player like Jiku and he would rather put his neck on the ground and clear the ball than for the ball to go to Benjamin Asari. And so he himself doesn't have to do a lot of work. There are some few balls that go to him, but you don't see them as the shots, because we played against Chad and they had 1 shot on target. and that was their goal, exactly.
That was their goal.
And so he has also been good, Benjamin Asari. I know that people like to talk about the fact that he's playing in the Ghana Premier League. We don't have correct data and start to analyze him. We're not talking about how his aerial saves, the ones he sweeps and everything. But I mean, once he's in the post, he's been keeping clean sheets. And for a goalkeeper, that's one thing that's very important for you.
I even think one of the things that we can look out for in terms of Benjamin Asare was that game against Mali here in Accra.
Yeah.
He was a calming, assuring presence in the post for us, because there were a number of balls that were floated in, particularly in the 9 numbers when we were leading, and he was very commanding of his area.
Yeah.
Came out and claimed the ball, which then calms the defense and calms the team.
Exactly.
And so, yes, we can make the argument that he's not out and out been so tested, but in the few times that we've needed him and called upon him, he's proven, and you can always beat what's in front of you, and,
exactly.
and the test which is put in front of you is what you have to pass, and he's passed that since he was put in the post for us. And so calming, assuring, and yesterday he also beat his man in when there was
that was a terrifying moment for me, Helen, because why are you not just saving the ball? You see, when goalkeepers try to be a bit
a bit of razzmatazz, okay?
No, but listen, yesterday, did you see that Libya goalkeeper's razzmatazz?
Which
thank you. It resulted in a goal.
Argentinian goalkeepers can save the ball with their 2 legs from behind. A bit of catch, a bit of display.
But he knows he can. But when that thing happened, I gripped
it because it was at 1-0.
I'm like, what?
And
you don't do that.
Couldn't have afforded a mistake there.
Exactly.
So there are some who have criticized him that, look, he put himself under undue pressure.
Right.
And someone should be telling him that, okay, we don't do this.
Keep the simple things simple.
Yes, keep it simple. But no coach actually ever likes their goalkeeper doing that, from Pep Guardiola to Jurgen Klopp. They always want safety in that particular, because the slightest mistake and you're down by a goal, the opponent has equalized and all of that. So they all don't like it. I've seen clips of Pep Guardiola in utter dismay when what's his name? Ederson, when he was with them, will be doing some of the flicks and dribbling into the center half area and all of that. He doesn't like it. Just keep it simple, lay it off to let's keep the ball running. But I mean, hopefully someone has told him that, look, don't buy unnecessary pressure for the team.
We don't want to see that catcher on Sunday.
And then again, I also believe that one thing we talk a lot about the Michaelasians, that Samuel Jans, they play together, they have chemistry, they talk.
That's right.
We have some players in this team that have also played together.
Yeah.
Okay.
The right to dream players. They have played together before. They do understand themselves. Some of them are now friends, like Fatawi Shahaku, Kudus, Kamaldeen, Salisu. Now they talk, because in their post-match they're saying, when we have conversations, he knows that if I'm at the second pole, this is how he's crossing the ball.
Connection.
Yeah, this is how the connection.
Because that critique has come up time and again about a reason why our Black Stars will perform brilliantly individually in their various clubs, but there seems to be a lack of cohesion when they come together, and some other countries have been cited as having better chemistry because maybe they come home a bit earlier to train together. But what you're saying is that we're seeing some more chemistry.
Yes, now we're seeing that, especially with Kudus, Salisu, Kamaldeen, even Ishahaku. Once they have the ball, they sort of almost know that this is where I have to kick the ball to, because this person is there, that person will be there. So they are developing that. These kind of chemistries, you don't just get them.
It takes time.
Yes, it takes time. It will come with time, and I believe that they are getting that. But one other thing have also been the fact that we've not managed our players well. The time that our players get, for instance. So yesterday, I don't think there was a reason why Fatawi Shahaku should have lasted that long in a game, especially because he's just coming back from an ACL injury. So you play him for like 60 minutes, he should be out. Because I thought the minute he almost got injured, there was a time I like, wrap it up. because you're just coming back from an ACL injury. Your team is now getting you again. They need you very much. You're a very important part of Leicester City. But then we should have to manage our players well so that the other players will also get the opportunity to play, because all these things comes into the tactics.
It becomes important in terms of having a general understanding with the team, because it's 20 now. We take 26 players.
I remember when Partey returned from injury, and Arsenal were like, you can't play him after 60 minutes. So after 60 minutes, they had to start.
He has to come out. Now let's talk about individual standout performances. You've mentioned a few names, barring the catcher that we saw in the goalpost, which had a lot of you gripping your seats. Who would you say, Akosia, was your standout performance? If it's more than one, tell me who that is and why they were your standout.
Throughout the qualifiers, number one is Jordan Ayew.
Okay.
That's a 34-year-old man to be doing what he has done for the Ghana team throughout the qualifiers, scoring hat-tricks, providing different assists, scoring 7 goals and providing 7 assists.
Right.
I mean, that's huge for a player like Jordan Ayew. And so for me, he's been my standout player. And then one unsung hero, I think, even though we all know how brilliant he is the calm that Thomas Partey brings into the team.
I was going to mention him actually.
Like, absolutely.
That was your man of the match.
Absolutely.
One of our standout performers in terms of the calming assurance that he brings, even in taking his goal. Even he was very calm and collected about it. And in mentioning him, I think Kwesi Sibo as well.
No.
A lot was said about the synergy between Kwesi Sibo and Thomas Partey
in the first game against Mali. Yeah, in the first game against Mali, yes. But in the second game, Kwesi Sibo was a ball he could have just passed to make it go into out of play. I'm like, no. And you could see there were moments where even Jordan was quite angry with him, because Jordan could see some of the passes he was making, and Jordan was like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And we could see moments like that. Bill was around when these things were happening. So like, Kwesi Sibo will get a ball and he's either given a back pass, he's taking the ball out of play, and I'm like, is he nervous? What's going on? And you could literally see Jordan sometimes opening his arms to ask, why did you do that?
Let me say hello to Bill. He's moved in here like a smooth operator. Nice and calm. When
Hi, Helen.
We couldn't have the discussion without our swag journalist of the year. Bilishon is in the building.
In sport writers, and then swag in the fit check as well.
Okay.
Mawina.
International cappers.
All right, so Bill, you're welcome. Akosia was just telling us about her top performing individuals in yesterday's game. A bit of banter here with her and Eric about Kwesi Sibo, the synergy in the midfield, Thomas Partey. Some polarizing opinions. Weigh in on that for us.
So with Sibo, what I noticed, which was very clear, is he seems to be the kind of guy who doesn't want to make a mistake, and that went to show in his one-touch passing. Every time he got the ball, he goes back, or he gives a one-touch pass to whoever is closest to him. He does not.
So he's being too careful.
Yes. That's his style, and I think it sort of is a style for usually a defensive midfielder. He is a defensive midfielder, but what Ghanaians and what a lot of people would expect from these days defensive midfielders, I'll give you an example. Martin Zubimendi, he doesn't just scream, but he knows how to pass.
Okay.
Pass forwards, pass, break lines, all of that. He knows how to do it. And that is something that you would expect from someone of a high level who plays in La Liga, which is one of the biggest leagues in Europe and in the world at large. And so, yes, there is that.
I'm giving him too much with the La Liga, and because he's not been playing of late. And when you say La Liga, someone is thinking, okay, he plays week in, week out with Lamine.
These days they bench him. Exactly. But we don't see it as much.
Let me stick with him, because how significant would you say was that midfield partnership between Kwesi Sibo and Thomas Partey in controlling the tempo and supporting each other's defense and attack?
Yeah, so the way Thomas Partey operates in the Black Stars, right, is much different from the way he would operate in Villarreal or the way he used to operate in Arsenal, right? In those clubs, he used to be at the base.
Right.
playing as the 6, and then the others go ahead of him. But in the Black Stars, I mean, we know Partey can really go forwards, right? He can bomb forwards. So that is what we use him as. And so it's very imperative to have a screening midfielder behind him, and that's what Sally's used to provide for him in the 2022 World Cup. That's what Sibo is doing for him right now. Unfortunately, people have not been impressed the way Sally's has been performing.
People, including you.
Oh, including myself.
Exactly. Why is saying people?
But it's
so
people.
you agree with Akosia then?
Oh, it's not just me.
You're all right. You agree?
It's not just me.
Yes. So you are alone.
Oh no! Right for right now, I'll prefer Sibo to be with Partey.
Okay,
that's Salis. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll prefer Sibo.
Helen, if you train.
Oh, he was called up the previous one, but not this one.
If Helen trains hard for 3 months, probably.
Let's not go too far. I don't know if I train for 1 year. I'm not even sure that I can do something. Black Queens, don't call me. Don't call me. I can't train for. Don't call me.
Oh, we have a game in October. They can.
What month are we in?
We are in October.
Yeah. Watch yourself. Now we had 5 goals from 5 different scorers.
Yeah.
Does that mean we have the men, and by the men I mean the attackers? Does that give you confidence going into not just the next qualifiers, but the World Cup as a whole? It's become a critique. We don't score goals. We don't have attackers. We don't have attackers. Do we now have the men? Do we now have the attackers? Based on what we saw yesterday.
It's not been a question of whether we have attackers or not. We do have attackers.
Okay.
But it's always been the way they've been set up to play, right? Now, Otuado, since he took over the Black Stars, even the first time and the second time, he's favored the back 3. And usually when you use a back 3, you sort of limit your attack a bit, right? You'd have to sacrifice a bit up front. And so when you see a back 3, especially, I mean, against Mali, we saw a back 3. Against even Chad, we saw a back 3. And so that sort of limited the way the attackers would be used. And in the end, Ghanaians would criticize them, whatever happens. But in this particular case, he dished the back 3, went for the back 4, the 4-2-3-1, and then had 4 different attackers at the front. Mohamed Kudus, Fatawi Sahaku, he had Antoine Semenyo, he had Jordan Ayew, all attackers, right, at the front. And if all of them click, you get to see goals. We saw them click.
Okay.
And we saw an example also against Chad at the Accra Sports Stadium. He went gang-ho, right? Partey was at the base, Enes Nyama in front of him. There was another midfielder, Kudus, also in front of him. And he had a front 3 as well. And so goals just kept coming. We scored 5 against Chad as well. And so it's never been a question of whether we have the attackers or not.
Okay.
It's always been there. But it's how to use them.
Set up.
How to set them up. If you set them up to attack, they will attack and they will score. It's that simple.
Akosia, you agree with that?
Yeah, but even sometimes for the Black Stars, it doesn't just even come down to who is an attacker. It just comes down to those who can score. So you would have a game where it's Thomas Partey that is scoring, or your defenders who are giving you the goal. Because the game we played against Mali here, it was a Jiku, even though it was a bit of a scrum. But it was Jiku who is a centre back who gave us the goal. So every other time, even when our attackers are not scoring, sometimes the midfielders and the other players are in to give us the goals that are needed. And once again, I would agree with what Bill is saying in terms of how we set up our team. Because when you set up the team in a way where, and I always want to use the examples of how we played our AFCON, because how we played our AFCON, sometimes you don't understand how the teams were set up. Because if you have a player like Antoine Semenyo who can play a game at Anfield, take a ball from outside of the center line way farther, and be able to dribble through Liverpool players and score a goal that he orchestrated himself, started and finished. But when he comes to the Black Stars and he's playing, and then you see players he's taller than, players he's stronger than, even progressing more, moving farther away from him when we are in attack. That was problematic, because there's no way if we have a set piece that Antoine Semenyo shouldn't be part of those who are either getting ready to go in the air to head for us or ready to get the ball and shoot, because he is an amazing striker from any angle. Last week, the game they played, he scored a goal from a very, very tight angle. Angles that I think maybe when he comes to the Black Stars, he may not necessarily try. And so if they are set up in that right way, because we also have some of the paciest wingers. who can do all the job, just cut in for you, and someone like Jordan Ayew wouldn't have to work so hard to try to go back and then come. Like, just make sure that I find you at the right place. My cutting will come to you. Be at the second pole, be at the first pole. So once they are set up in the right way, and it all goes down to really understanding, and I'm glad that you can see the camaraderie in camp now, which will tell you that if I'm having a conversation with you as a fellow player, I would want to tell you what my strengths are, that once you have the ball, you should know that maybe this is where I will be. Next time, the corner, you know that this is where the tall players are, so instead of here, put it here. And once they are able to have these conversations, the coaches would do their jobs on the sidelines. But sometimes, when even for players, they take the game to you, they carry the game, they put it on their shoulders and decide that even if the coach's tactics is not working with us, we would carry the team and then give the results.
Now, how are we seeing the blend of youth and experience play out in the Black Stars? Bill?
It's actually going on well. Of course, Jordan Ayew is literally the most experienced in the side, having played in multiple World Cups, been in the Black Stars for very long. But now it's quite important to also have the youth in the system. Mohamed Kudus is still young, he's 25. There's Abdul Fattah Isahaku. At some point, Enes Nyama comes in, Ibrahim Osman. That blend is very important because it sort of bridges a gap and it helps you prepare for the future, right? And Otuado did mention when he came back for the second time that he's going to really focus on getting more younger players in so he can prepare them for subsequent tournaments where at that point in time they will be ready to actually compete in those tournaments, like an AFCON, like the World Cup in the future. So now it's really good to see these many young players. I'm really impressed with Flagbearership as well. Very young, 19 years old, but he's doing amazing. And he's not even a right back, that's the thing. He's a midfielder, but he's doing great things at right back. So it's really, really good that Otuado has found a way to bring in younger players to mesh with these older guys to try and get the results that he needs.
And it's important to mention that some of these younger players have been projects from under 17s, under 20.
Okay.
So these are players we've seen. These are players who played some in the Ghana Premier League. Fatawi Ishahaku, having played here in the Ghana Premier League before moving to Porto. So like these are Ghana projects. And I love that. I like it when we have good Ghanaian players out there. But I also love it, Helen, when we have Ghanaian players who actually started here in Ghana, and we know that these are our projects. So we have players like Jerry Friye, who played for our youth team, Fatawi Shahaku, who played for our youth team. We have Christopher Bonsuba, who developed here in Ghana. So once you see that, you know that, okay, we are doing something right here. And then the players from Right to Dream here in Ghana. And so, yes, the youth, they are just... we are blending them quite well at this point, because when you see how Kudus, for instance, even Christopher Bonsuba, who will tell you that whenever I go to camp, I'll go to Thomas Partey or I'll go to Jordan Ayew and be like, what can you teach me? What can you tell me? What do I have to know? So that they would be able to learn, and when it's time for them to fully take over, it wouldn't be a time for us to say, let's give them time. They are already getting that time now. So when it's time for them to really take over, they will be ripe and ready.
And that's exciting. We have to nurture the homegrown players as well. It can't always be about looking outside of the country. Now, Bill, before you got here, there was this talk about Sunday we go up against Comoros, and the agenda. Okay, Mawina, he says the score will be we're thumping them 5-0.
5. I'll be very, very honest.
But you know when it becomes an emotional expedition. Whenever, for example, who was it Argentina that we faced off against? And Uruguay, my bad.
What's that?
And you see, the emotion is a bit too
revenge.
That game, I don't like to mention names, but it was a simple task.
Which one?
Uruguay.
The second one?
Score, start, penalty.
Yeah, the penalty.
Trajectory of the game completely different.
Changes,
Look, from when he missed, I don't want us to talk about it, but when he missed that penalty, the psychology of the team tanked.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh no, this is going to happen to us again," and that was it. And it's a completely. I mean, the confidence level with which I've been speaking on since Monday, and I keep making reference because since Monday we've been having this conversation.
So on Monday, if we don't see you here,
no, I'm saying the confidence. I've been
no, but I'm saying that because the game is on Sunday.
Yes.
So on Monday, if you are not here, we know it's because you've over put your heart in it.
No. There won't be anything like that. The expectation is that we will wallop them, a thumping, not because it is necessarily revenge or anything.
It's revenge.
I don't even approach it in the conversation of revenge. Look, there are classes or there are levels when it comes to football in Africa.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Comoros, but they are nowhere close to the pedigree of the Blacks. Have you been to the streets of Ghana, from the nooks and crannies? The sheer talent we have in this country, they cannot lace our boots. And it is based on that basis alone, I say that they are receiving a thumping never before experience, and it is not a revenge. We are going to have fun with them because the World Cup is done. And we are just going to enjoy ourselves, enjoy the football, and it's going to be an absolute jamboree at the Accra Sports Stadium.
I don't know if
Sunday.
it was just the Ghanaian in me who was just waiting for Ghana to maybe not win the game against Central African Republic, then leave it all late around the 85th
For that drama.
For that 85th minute.
I don't like that one.
That's what I wanted.
I know the pedigree of the team.
Yeah.
And by now the rest of these games we are using it for exhibition. We're using it to train the fresher limbs, persons who've come to the team for the first time, giving them minutes, testing if they have the gravitas to be able to don the Black Stars shirt. We've left it
and I
too
believe
late.
Probably on Sunday
we will
may have a whole change at least 6 players.
Let's change it. Let the guys. Let's see Payne still start. Let's see Sulemana start. Let's see a fresh midfield. Let's try and test because we have made it to the World Cup. And then if the scores doesn't want to reach, then we'll bring the rest of the guys so that we can make it 5, 6, 7, 8. Charlie, it would be nice to see the Black Stars do an 8-0 against Comoros on Sunday.
I mean,
so
why?
It will be a festival. Then that on Sunday is just celebrate the whole stadium. We are just blasting music whilst the game is going because we are having fun. Then the goals are going. Then we are counting.
And we're screaming USA, USA,
and we're screaming USA. Fantastic.
Moe, I want you to take a sip of cold water. That's why I'm about to do this. I want us to also hear from our 3 Sports General Manager, Michael Otieje. He was our man on the ground yesterday, witnessing the game. Take a listen.
I think, first of all, the main point that you have to make is that it was a very, very efficient performance by the Black Stars in Meknes against the Central African Republic. The first half was maybe a bit slow. I think there were a few people who were beginning to think, is this a playback of that game against Chad when Ghana scores as early as possible and then completely seem to lose track of what to do and then everything goes bad. But in the second half, the players responded and they responded in the most brilliant fashion. Jordan Ayew came to the fore quite well, set up Thomas Partey for the first, then he set up Jiku, put one on a plate for him, as we say in football, to score a second. Jordan himself scored a third. Then there was the fourth. Basically the goals just effectively came as quickly as possible. A few observations from that. I think it was just how efficiently coached the team were in this game, and particularly the use of the set pieces. Before this game, there was a lot of interaction between Mohamed Kudus and the set piece trainer. And Kudus, every time he got the ball, because I watched it on pitch side, was very clear in his communication. One moment, he told Mohamed Salisu in Hausa, go in there deep, the ball is coming to you. Before the goal was scored, he says to Jordan Ayew, Joe, the ball, they come to you. And Jordan then dragged the defenders forward and he puts the ball at the far post where Salisu headed the ball in. Salisu saying later that it was a move they had rehearsed throughout the period. So for me, that was the main thing. And it was also a sign of how efficient the Black Stars have used set pieces. I'm told since March it's about the 7th goal they've scored from a set piece routine. I thought that also overall the team performance was really good and really solid across board. Mohamed Sibu Thibaut had a very good day. I thought Thomas Partey was excellent. The centre backs both scored goals in Salisu and Njiku. That speaks of a strong team, but also the set piece strength of the team. Across board, the front line, the substitutions worked efficiently because Joseph Pencil sets up Kamaruddin Sulemana, who scores his first goal for Ghana in 6 years, and it was brilliant to see how his mates Mohamed Kudus and Fatawu Isiaku were chuffed for him and happy that he found his mojo in that regard. So for me, those were the key things: the efficient use of set pieces, the efficient use of substitutes, just the overall ability to spring up in the second half and play well, because it had been a major bay for the Black Stars. At this stage, it looks like World Cup qualification is closer than ever. The team will spend time having a bit of a relaxed day today, I suspect, and then I think tomorrow the real preparations for the game against Comoros will kick in. But this is a trip that the Black Stars thoroughly enjoyed. It's a performance they enjoyed. They came back to Accra with a crowd cheering and everything this morning, and I think it will live quite long in the memory. But they have to finish the job on Sunday, and I think that's what every member of the team will try to do, and that's the message that Otuado has been trying intensely to pass on to the rest of the side. I think, first of all, the main point that you have to make is that it was a very, very efficient performance by the Black Stars in Meknes against the Central African Republic. The first half was maybe a bit slow. I think there were a few people who were beginning to think, is this a playback of that game against Chad when Ghana scores as early as possible and then completely seem to lose track of what to do, and then everything goes back. But in the second half, the players responded, and they responded in the most brilliant fashion. Jordan Ayew came to the fore quite well, set up Thomas Partey for the first, then he set up Njiku, put one on a plate for him, as we say in football, to score a second. Jordan himself scored a third. Then there was the fourth. Basically the goals just effectively came as quickly as possible. A few observations from that. I think it was just how efficiently coached the team were in this game, and particularly the use of the set pieces. Before this game, there was a lot of interaction between Mohamed Kudus and the set piece trainer, and Kudus.
Let's expand this conversation some more. Joining us to have this discussion, I've got on the phone lines Dr. Ernest Cranting, CEO of the Back Group, also a sports analyst. Doc, hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Helen.
How are you doing?
I'm well, by God's grace. I hope you're doing well. We're all basking in what was a good game yesterday.
That's right.
Overall, the result was needed so much.
Absolutely.
And we got it to avoid any jitters on Sunday when we play our last home game.
That's right. So I take it that you're feeling very confident then. On Sunday, you can decide not to even watch the game because it's a foregone conclusion. It's a done deal, isn't it?
It is. Yesterday evening after the game, before I went for a walk, I drafted a message I'm hoping to send out maybe at the weekend. I don't know, it's Sunday prior to the game. And my message is very clear that we're only gathering for a big party on Sunday, God willing, at the Accra Sports Stadium. A game against Comoros should be more of a celebration than anything. If the Football Association and its stakeholders have got some ideas how to begin to whip up even more enthusiasm and interest for our participation at the World Cup, we could start on Sunday. Also, Sunday offers us a massive opportunity to maybe outline, even if it's skeletal, outline a few things that will keep the World Cup conversation going in a certain way. Unfortunately, we won't play in the Africa Cup of Nations in December in Morocco when 24 teams from Africa gather. I mean, it's a disappointment that I haven't gotten over.
That's right.
I do not think that we should forgive ourselves for failing to reach the AFCON in Morocco in December. The only way we can make up for it is to intensify the conversations about Ghana's World Cup participation in December. In June in North America next year. There are a few things for me. Since 2006, we failed to reach just one World Cup in Russia 2018. That in my opinion is remarkable. We did 3 straight between 2006 and 2014. Then we missed out on 2018, but we're back in 2022. It is fundamental for our game to reach these finals, to reach these major competitions, because then it does not only showcase what we're made of and what we can do, but it also tells the progress we're making, because all of the things we do at club level and all of the developmental projects, everything culminates in the showcasing of these things at major competitions, AFCON, World Cup, at every level, including the senior level. It is without a doubt that the senior level is massive, and we cannot afford to fail to qualify for major championships. Yeah, of course, so I am bullish. I am confident that the job is done. Massive goal difference for us that favors us. We are not going to lose at home to Comoros, where we're not looking forward to a repeat of that shambolic performance against Niger in our last Africa Cup of Nations qualifying home game. We should finish it with aplomb, win big, have a big celebration, but find creative, strategic ways to keep the conversation going between now and June next year. It's only a little over 8 months, actually.
That's right. Now, speaking of the road to World Cup come next year, let's dial it back to yesterday's game. And what tactical decisions do you think that were made by Coach Otto Addo did the magic?
Okay, so it's also appropriate to credit what the Football Association has done over the period of these World Cup qualifiers. Yeah, it was within the same period that we failed massively to reach the AFCON, but we've got to give credit where it is due. The FA has done well, led by the President, General Secretary, and all the people involved, including the Management Committee, Chairman, and the rest of his team. Also, the government, led by the Sports Ministry, and everything they have done. The coach Otto Addo and the players, led by Jordan Ayew, who is captain of the side up until this time. You ask about tactical decisions, and I say we didn't exactly play differently from what we've been used to over the period. Yes, the opponent, in my opinion, was poor, just like Chad. But one big difference was that we didn't let our guards down when we scored the first goal. It took a while for the first goal to come. A big lead for us is how we scored goals from set pieces throughout these World Cup qualifiers. 9 games, we scored from 7 or so set pieces. That is remarkable. You can't take that away from the team. It means we're doing something in that regard. It's also technical. We've got to applaud the team for it and the technical team for the work they've done. I'm still looking at us. Yes, we scored 5. I'm still looking at us being absolutely dominant on the pitch, on the field of play, so that when we put the ball down, we're stringing passes together and we're moving players from one point to the other, controlling the game, controlling the ball, etc. That I did not see the way I expected. But we expected the win. We wanted the win to avoid any jitters on Sunday, and that's exactly what we delivered. So if you ask me if anything remarkable is changed about technical direction, I'll say, of course, the coach selected the players, and they have spoken to the players in the manner that got them to get out and get the results the way they did yesterday. But technically, our style of play, delivery, etc., could improve so much more if we can beat the very big boys, not just on the continent, but the world over. We're going to play in the World Cup, mind you, and we've got to be hitting the highest heights if we get out of our group and make it very far in the competition.
Now, we were having a bit of in-studio banter about the midfield partnership between Kwesi Sibo and Thomas Partey. in controlling the tempo and also supporting each other. I want you to weigh in on that. It was quite a heated and interesting banter in the studio.
Yeah, Thomas is a phenomenon, isn't he? Thomas has easily been one of our best players. Together with Jordan Ayew have been our most outstanding players throughout the qualifiers. Thomas, yesterday I was trying to look at the stats. Thomas hardly loses a game when he plays with the Black Stars team. Let's not forget, over 2 legs against Nigeria prior to Qatar 2022 was our most important player. I did the most important thing, scored the most important goal that got us to the World Cup. He was captain of the side at the time because we didn't have Andre Ayew. Now, if Thomas is in midfield for you, how easy he does the thing, how technically adept, skilled, experienced he is magnificent. If we have him in this team, we know anytime Thomas lines up in the Black Stars team, I'm like, okay, so the job is like 50% done, and then he only needs the support. So Thomas is a mainstay. He's deputy captain also of the team. He's a massive, massive leader. Yesterday, after the second or third goal, I saw him still try to direct his teammates, try to say things to them, from Jiku to Semenyo to some of the players. I saw Thomas leading on the pitch. I don't know whether he's thinking of life after football already in the dugout. But right. Thomas is a magnificent player. He gives us assurances that we easily do not have in his absence. So that is one. Kwesi Sibo has come in early. The two of them speak Spanish. They've been in Spain for a while. So I get that there's a connection. Let's not forget, Real Oviedo has played Villarreal this season already. They've met, they've spoken, and I assume they've exchanged contact and they are in touch as regularly as possible. Sibo is coming, he's doing a good job. A tackler, he wins the balls, and then what he has to add to it is starting the attack, starting the play. But he's giving Thomas so much covering that Thomas is free to move forward and create. You saw from yesterday's game, Thomas's goal, for instance, was it the second or the third goal? You saw how he moved forward and played that 1-2 with Jordan, and then took the ball so well and scored. So the midfield partnership has been good. I mean, the midfield in general excites us so much. Don't forget that we still have Ibrahim Sulemana, who is not fit, got injured, so couldn't be called up for this game.
That's
Young
right.
at Bologna is done great already in Cagliari before moving to was in Atalanta and now on loan at Bologna. So he will come in as well at some point. We have Elisha Usu in the team. There are other midfielders who will give us cover. So when it comes to the midfield area, I believe we're so stuck, we're so blessed, and all we have to do is to take care of our boys, take care of all of them.
Right.
And Thomas will continue to be that man who directs the orchestra in midfield, and we can only get better.
Right. And my final question, Doc, as we wrap up on this conversation is, how significant do you see the blend of youth and experience in this Black Stars team as we look forward to our future games?
It's great. I don't know if you realized what Mohamed Kudus was doing on the pitch yesterday, relating with Abdul Fattah Ishaku
right.
and Kamaldeen Sulemana when he came on. After the game, the Football Association posted a video of the three of them having a conversation, congratulating and encouraging Kamaldeen Sulemana for the goal. He scored his first goal in 6 years for the Black Stars, in fact his first international goal. That is the kind of future we have for this team. Kudus Mohammed is already a leader. Fattah Ishaku, the Fattah Ishaku I know, is one who is daring, who likes to take on responsibilities and will grow even better into this team. I mentioned Sulemana Ibrahim earlier, who also has these leadership tendencies and will come in, has quality, will come in and augment the side. There are many others. Gideon Mensah has been a left back for some time. He's only 26. It's just incredible, isn't it?
That's
you
right.
go to right back and Caleb Irinchi is already giving what's the name? The player I ran. I'm trying to recollect his name. Give him a run for the right back position. We have a good blend. Our goalkeeper is 26 years old. He's hard-to-work goalkeeper. Benjamin Asari is a fan favorite. I've seen how many guys are trying to call him Mr. Clean Sheets is nice.
That's right.
And then you have in the middle of the park all of the players who are contributing their bit. Then a nice blend up front. Jordan Ayew, 33, Semenyo there, and all the other players who are contributing their bit. So the blend is great. We have a team for the future. I'm looking at us winning things, beating the big sides, the most important sides, to win things, because that's the only way you win things. And my opinion is, if we continue on this trajectory, make the right technical decisions, keep these players motivated, they are fit, they are strong, we will get back to our very best, not just qualifying to major competitions, but going very far and possibly winning something and ending Ghana's 40-something year wait for an international title, long before some of us were born.
Doc, we look forward to the party come Sunday. I know you'll be front and center as far as all of the action is concerned. Thank you so much for sharing your nuggets with us this morning. We're wishing you a fruitful Thursday.
Thank you. All the best to you too.
Thank you as well. And that was Dr. Ernest Cranting, CEO of the Back Group, also a sports analyst. Time check, it is some 18 minutes past the hour of 9. And we will be here when the Black Stars defeat Comoros in Sunday's game. Some say it's revenge and some say it'll be a walk in the park. Do stick with us. We'll go on a very quick break right about now. When we come back, we'll be zooming into the topic of the NPP Flagbearership race. And as you know, something very important is happening today. The NPP has officially scheduled the balloting
headquarters in Asylum Down in Accra. Party of the opposition, the largest in opposition. A statement signed by the secretary to the Presidential Elections Committee, William Yamwa. All vetted aspirants have been invited to participate in the exercise, which will determine their positions on the ballot paper for the party's presidential elections. A statement addressed to the 5 cleared candidates, that is Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, immediate past Vice President Kennedy Ohine Japan, immediate past Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Dr. Brian Echampon, Betty Fee, Elon Musk, and also former Greek minister, as he's called, Dr. Yause Duchum, immediate past Education Minister, and Engineer Kwabena Japan, one-time General Secretary of the party, one-time presidential spokesperson of the party. Congratulated them on successfully passing their vetting process and urged their cooperation in upholding the party's democratic principles. Another chairman of the committee, Dr. Adokufo, also directed that the invitation for their participation in the balloting process should, which would determine their positions on the ballot paper for the upcoming January 31 presidential primaries, is what took center stage in that letter. We'll get into that conversation. Dr. Zato will join us, and also Dr. Jonathan Asantrell-Tree of the UCC will join us. Dr. Zato from the University of Ghana, and then Dr. Jonathan Asantrell-Tree from the University of Cape Coast. Now, who's going to lead the NPP? That's the conversation. It's an internal contest that has generated a lot of controversy. A lot of buzz, as they say it on social media. People are asking questions, and people are blaming people, and people are pointing accusing fingers. But one thing is clear, that the NPP needs to bring their best foot forward in order for them to be able to kick out the NDC from power. Giving the, as some has called it, a shambolic performance in the 2024 general elections, they would have to do more than enough and outdo themselves to be able to get by, and to win back the love from the Ghanaians, particularly some party members. Let's quickly run you through the profiles of the candidates. We'll begin with Engineer Kwabena Japan. Helen, what do we know?
All right, so we know that he was former General Secretary of the NPP. He was elected April 2014 and suspended the year after in 2015. In fact, you can say removed from that position.
He was not alone. He was with Sami Crab and Chairman Afoko. So Sami Crab was a vice chairman. Paul Afoko was the chairman of the party at the time, and he was general secretary at the time. All three of them were kicked out of the party. For what reason, we are not too sure about.
Until now, it's a sore spot in the party's history.
It is indeed.
Well, he also served as press secretary and presidential spokesperson to Presidents John Ajekunku for 2001 all the way through till 2006.
That's correct. One of the best presidential spokespersons, if you can say.
Now we have Kennedy Ohine Ejapon, Member of Parliament, or former Member of Parliament for Asin Central. Some will also describe him as an astute businessman, having employed many across the country.
And he touts his ability to have sponsored the party, bought pickups and all of that. He says that on a regular.
We've also got Dr. Brian Echampon, former Minister for Food and Agriculture, appointed February 2023. He's also currently Member of Parliament for Abetifi.
That's right, Abetifi, Elon Musk.
Then you've got Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Vice President of Ghana from January 7, 2017 through to December 2020. 2024. You know this name.
And before that, he was Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Correct.
The CD Reid nomination conversations were around him largely in 2007. So he's not a face that is not known.
That's
Many
right.
believe that he is, the foremost candidate among them because he had been at the helm of affairs before as vice president. But what do the delegates think? I'm sure that in the coming days we will know the smoothness level for everybody.
The delegates will let all of them know. And we've also got Dr. Yao Osei Educhu, Minister for Education between 2021 and 2024, then became, but prior to that was Deputy Minister for Education 2017 through till 2021.
He also served as a Member of Parliament and he is very interested in STEM. So in his beloved constituency, he's been championing youngsters, taking them on to go and read science, and he says that some of them have become medical doctors, engineers, etc. So great.
I believe that's all the presidential
That's right.
hopefuls
So
that
these
we've
are the
got.
5 gentlemen who have put themselves up. In fact, let's put on record that Engineer Dainimo at some point said that the filing fees were too expensive.
Too much.
It was not worth the trouble. And so he decided not to contest. But he contested in the presidential primaries in 2024, prior to the 2024 general elections. He was part of the people who had actually, given himself up. But he thought that, no, it's too expensive to pay that much money just to contest to become the flag bearer of a political party that he has served for a very, very long time.
Is he vying for any other position internally in the party, or I think he has just abandoned that
I don't
vision?
know. I'm not sure if he wants to serve in any other capacity. I think that his eye was on the presidency, and his only disappointment or his only disagreement was that the filing fees was too much, because when you finish paying the filing fees, you also have to pay some other money for party development, etc. And he thought that no, this is extortion of a sort. It's too much. I cannot. Well, Dr. Jonathan Asante is joining us 28 minutes at the top of the hour 10. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a political analyst. Doc, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny, and good morning to your listeners.
It's obvious that these 5 gentlemen have all been okayed by the party to go into the presidential primaries, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is really the case.
Now, in the face of the circumstances, the bottom-up approach or top-down approach that the MPP wants to do, because this is what is beginning the top-down approach. Is that a way to go for the MPP, really, considering their performance in the 2024 general elections?
Certainly not, but probably they might have done certain calculations, which of course they will not put in the public domain. You see, the over-monetization of the internal electoral processes, is something that leaves more to be desired. And having analyzed that decision of doing a top-bottom approach instead of the bottom-up, I think that must be one of the, important considerations as far as the National Executive Committee or which other National Council or which other body that is concerned took that particular decision. But that being said, trying to cure a particular mischief, you are equally going to create some kind of an elected, this is what I call a democratically elected dictator. Because once whoever wins, we know that there are some who have already thrown their weight behind some of these presidential candidates, right, or aspirants, so to speak. Now, what this means is that once any of them is elected, that particular, elected flag bearer will ensure that he gets people who aligned with him to be elected along the path of national, regional, constituency, and so on and so forth. And that in itself could also affect, parliamentarians as well. because there are some parliamentarians that have come out openly to support this,
right,
and others who have not done so. So it's just like in ancient Greece, where the people of Melos decided that they were neither going to support Athens or Sparta in the war, what we call the Peloponnesian War. But Athens said that no, remaining quiet when somebody is not aligned is as dangerous. It's more dangerous than the person who openly supports. So they had to crash that particular city. Now, if you fast track to whatever has happened today, as far as the MPP is concerned, I'm of the view that this is likely going to happen. Now, the advantage that the bottom-up approach has given is the fact that, those at the grassroots do not have the kind of wherewithal those at the top have in terms of the elite of the party and those who have been ministers and have held CEOship positions and have been, vice president. Those people don't have those kinds of resources. And so most often than not, those who decide to become presidential candidates or aspirants decide to support a certain number of people at the lower levels of elections. So in the case of the MPP, at the polling station level, at the constituency level, right, at the regional and probably at the national. So if you are able to support these levels of elections along the line, then as a presidential aspirant, you are calculating as it were in terms of the percentage that you are likely to get.
Right.
Because these people will definitely align. They will owe their allegiance to you, though it has a way of compromising democracy along the line. But you will want to know exactly the stakeholder that you have as far as the process is concerned. And so now, with a top-bottom approach, what this means is that those who probably will lose out may not be interested in those who get elected. And that in itself could affect the moral base, of the party itself. Because it will have gingered the base from the bottom up to the top.
Right.
Once you have these presidential, aspirants having, to play a certain role in ensuring that there is that scrutiny.
Right.
Now, if they lose, why would they be interested in who becomes what at the lower level? They want to keep their money for something else. So these are some of the, the fallout that this particular approach is likely to. But that being the case, I think that the top-bottom approach will also make the presidential aspirant spend a lot of money. Because now, it is now or never. It is not like you are trying your luck along the process. It is now or never. So that mischief that they want to cure may not necessarily be cured.
Now, I'm sure you followed the internal finger pointing and the campaigns of all the 5 candidates. Technically, the other 4 who are contesting with Dr. Bawumia, if you will be appointees or people who supported his candidacy in the 2024 general elections. Now, does that connote a certain vote of no confidence on the former vice president going into this election?
Well, it is a matter of choice. No confidence. No confidence, certainly. The other thing too is that there is the absence of the coercive force of state, right? In those periods, we're talking about the president in power, the vice president in power. Now you don't have that power, so there is no coercive, force from the state. So it's like now people will want to support the candidate that they believe, will be able to prosecute an agenda that will inure to their benefit. And it is a matter of democracy as well. It's a matter of choice as well. But obviously, like somebody like Dr. Palgiv, right? I mean,
yes.
Yes. Suddenly turning around, against Dr. Bawumia, rebuffing the kinds of things that he said and so on and so forth. Definitely you have Mr. Gabi not in support of the former vice president. and so on and so forth. You have the former spokesperson for education, now Kukwati. If your boss is
Duchum, that's right.
Interestingly, you turn around supporting Kennedy Japan. Well, those are interesting choices and decisions on the part of these personalities that I have, mentioned. I don't remember Speaker or Dr. Amwa openly supporting or opposing anybody before the 2024 elections.
Right.
But this time around, he's openly supporting Honorable Kennedy Japan, and so on and so forth. And I've also noticed that the spokesperson for Dr. Duchum, a very brilliant guy, I don't know where he belongs, but I think that the guy is really good, at what he does. That being said, Mr. Kobene Japan probably will be in the periphery because probably he did not listen to some of us, our advice.
He was in the camp of Dr. Baumia, actually more like a right-hand man in the 2024 election campaign, and you could see him in most of the videos tagging along with Dr. Baumia. Now he wants to contest the man that he, so strongly supported. Surprise?
So the same can be said of Dr. Brian Champon. Of course, you can also say the same. Maybe he was doing his official duty, the former education minister, Dr. Duchum. But in the case of Kobene Japan, Mr. Kobene Japan, it's quite interesting because you could see that when he was launching his campaign, for the internal presidential primaries for the 2024 election, he did a very grand presentation in which he justified why Dr. Baumia should not be elected. He justified why he should be chosen as a presidential candidate. Because those who have been part of the destruction cannot be part of the rebuilding. That is exactly what his presentation was about.
That's right.
And so they will say that, well, it is politics, it was an internal contest, and I needed to project myself, and that is what I did. Unfortunately, they seem to forget that the opposition will use these things against your presidential candidate. And that's exactly what happened. And so maybe he will say that it is politics, and that's the more reason why he will still go and support Dr. Baumia when he loses. Definitely, that is what is likely going to happen.
I see.
But they just have to be very careful the kinds of things that they say along the line, because the opposition will use that against them.
I'll have you hold on, Doc, and let me bring in Dr. Zato from the University of Ghana. He's also a political analyst. Doc, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Oh, no. Hello, Dr. Zato. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Your line was misbehaving at some point. Now, now the New Patriotic Party has cleared all the 5 gentlemen who have expressed their interest to contest the party's flag bearership going into the 2028 elections. What kind of a man does the MPP need at this time in terms of leadership, given the results of the 2024 elections?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our listeners. The New Patriotic Party, and you are going into this, you want to ask yourself some very important question. Anybody you are meeting, you are going to meet an incumbent government in the next election. Whatever candidate you are meeting, you are going to meet a candidate who is in power. And so you then ask yourself, who can you bring to match that incumbency? Who can you bring that can say that his or her expertise matches whatever the incumbent is bringing? If the NDC brings the current vice president, you must ask yourself, do you have anybody on your ticket or your list that can match that person's expertise? So now, the NPP needs somebody who is well marketed. The NPP needs somebody who is well experienced. The NPP needs somebody who can say, I've been there and I've done that before. The NPP needs somebody who can show that he has a mastery of the policies and the ideas. And the NPP needs somebody who can, from day one, not need to sell himself, not need to market himself, somebody who can say from the one that I am known, I am marketed, I'll be here and say that. And so you need that person because you are going to meet somebody who will say, I'm in power or I'm in government and I've got to do this. And so the NPP needs a candidate that doesn't need introduction, and that candidate they need is a candidate that is strong, that can demonstrate that. So if you ask me who do they need a candidate like a former vice president.
So you would prefer to have Dr. Bawumia lead the NPP going into the 2028 elections. Is that safe to say?
It's not my preference. It's the fact that when you look at the evidence of the result, I've put this point. Ghana politics, sometimes you can see how the politics of Ghana is structured. That is why today you can say the most experienced politician in Ghana is His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. He's the most experienced. The President of Ghana too represents a link between the old politics, that is those who you can say champion resistance, RC, PNDC, constitutional transition. Those politicians, the men and women who define that area. President Hama is a large bunch of them. He represents them and now. If somebody wants to for that equation, the most experienced, the most marketable politician left in the country now is essentially Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He has demonstrated that he's been there, he's done all of them. He's the most marketable, the most experienced, the most knowledgeable. He's a CEO of those policies that he can say, I did this, I did A, I did B. He's a CEO who shows the humility and the knowledge to lead the party. So, yes, that is what I mean.
Now, you tell me, you've had the mudslinging that's gone on internally from each of the camps. Everybody is trying to get the attention of the electorate, but they are also throwing shade at each other. 10 cents of so and so, 12 cents of so and so, 20 cents of so and so. People apologizing, people saying we made mistakes, etc. Do you think that a party that wants to heal, especially from the 2024 election defeat, needs this at this time, given the fact that it could be used by their opponents against them in any serious election?
Thank you very much. If you look at political parties, the nature of political parties, they are very vulnerable whenever they are engaged in internal trouble. That is true. In fact, the history of this country shows us that political parties had broken up during this primaries. You can talk of the case of the Reform Party of the NDC led by Guditano. You can talk about the NDC again, the party that were led by Obeda Samoa. You can talk about NDC again, the party that broke away led by Nana Kunoba Juma Rawlings. All this happened during internal primaries. But they did not prevent the NDC from winning the 2028 elections, and subsequently they did not prevent the NDC from winning the 2012 elections. They did not. A similar thing has happened. The NPP is going through a very difficult phase. If we go back, internal primaries led to the NPP sacking its national chairman, its national secretary, the national vice chairman, a disgruntled candidate who lost woefully in an election. The NDC left the NPP to go and form its own movement. No, these things too did not stop the NPP from winning the 2016 election and the 2020 elections. And you can also say, just like the NDC, they also contributed to the NPP losing the 2024 or the 2020 elections. My point is that these things have always happened and they will keep happening because individuals are in political parties, are in political parties to maximize their rationality. And sometimes they don't know what they're going to do.
I see.
It's not. And so that's what I'm saying. Look, there's something that you're missing. One of the smartest decisions the NPP made for themselves was to bring their primary very close. Because they understand that there was going to be mudslinging. They understand that this is going to happen. But what they try to do is that they are trying to give themselves at least 3 years to do anything. They are trying to give themselves a new space after the primary to be able to come together. That is why you see that people have told the NDC to stop the internal wrangling. That's why there are people saying that the chairman of the NDC should stop the transfer, that the chief of staff should stop what he's doing, because the NDC understands this similar thing. So for me, gay political parties, for the first time in Ghana, the playing field in both parties seems to be a little level. The NDC is having for the first time one of the most level playing field to select somebody to replace the President Mahama. The NPP is having a relatively level playing field. And we've not seen this in a very long time in most political parties. So all I can tell you is that prepare for more mudslinging, prepare for more vicious attacks. They will happen. But the political party that is able to keep their cool, keep their calm, and endure all the things is the one that will emerge victorious. And as I've told you, the political parties have done that, and they all emerge victorious.
The Professor Michael Quay reports as to why the MPP lost the 2024 elections is not known to many people. In fact, all the other 4 candidates who are going head-to-head with Dr. Bawumia in this primary say, we have not seen the report. So if we have not seen the report that is supposed to help us heal and bounce back and rebrand, how do we go into a contest this early? And that also goes to some delegates who will be casting their votes and making a decision on these 5 candidates, and so on and so forth. Don't you think that the party, at least on a need-to-know basis for the National Council, should have been giving copies of the Professor Michael Quay report so everybody is on the same wavelength?
Thank you. You know, I don't advise political parties on what to do in their internal issues. But if a political party thinks that there is information we have, and that information is proprietary, and that if that information is released, it will do us more harm than good, then they will advise us someone to release it. Remember, the NDC went through a similar thing. The feasibility report was never made public because the corporate NDC saw that if we made this public, individuals are going to be selfish, individuals are going to use it for their own selfish motives, and it will not help the corporate brand of the NDC. And they have been proven right. They have been proven right because they took that report and they've now won power. The corporate entity can also think that, look, yes, we have done our own thing, we've done our own self-introspection, and we now believe that the interest of the corporate entity will look better protected if this report is made public. But that is why they also kept it indoors. Now, secondly, it is possible that some of the suggestions in that report were those that the entity has started implementing. They went to Congress to expand the voter base. They went to Congress to do so. So you can read that the only thing that the best way to follow that report is to implement the suggestions of that report that will enable the good of the party. And you want to see that some of the reforms, including going to Congress, I won't be surprised that some of them are contained in that report. And that is what they are doing. But then the malicious ones, the things that they believe that if it falls not only in the hands of competitors, but also in the hands of their political opponents, will be used against the corporate body of the NPP. Of course, they are not going to make it public. And that is understood. So I want to believe that based on that, the party is doing that the right people, the national executive, the national executive, who are supposed to know, they are working with that.
I see. Now, let me bring Dr. Santiotri. Doc, so one of the persons who had earlier indicated his interest in this contest was Engineer Dynamo. He pulled out of it because he thought the monetization or the commodification of this whole contest was unthinkable, if you will. These 5 did not breathe a word about it, and they have satisfied the prerequisite or requirements, which is why they have been cleared. But is that the way to go for political parties, to set a certain high amount, and if you cannot afford it, then maybe even though you are qualified and most experienced, you may not be in the race because you don't have deep pockets? Is that the way to go?
Well, I think that this particular issue, you may have to look at it from 2 or more perspectives. The point is that how much is too little for a filing fee and how much is too much for a filing fee? I'm of the view that to become a presidential candidate of a party as big as the MPP, I mean, you should be very much resourceful. It shouldn't be the case that you single-handedly will have to raise that kind of money to file for that particular position. Obviously, those who believe in your vision and mission will have to buy into that and help support in the filing process. That being said, I think it is just too mind-boggling. It is still on the high side. And so that in itself will prevent, other well-qualified people, as you said, who do not have those resources to be able to do so. But the other counterpart of this particular argument is the fact that, to be a presidential candidate and ask for the entirety of Ghanaians to vote for you on the ticket of the MPP, you must have the wherewithal to be able to do so. You must be very resourceful and networked at the same time.
I see. Dr. Zato, what do you think? Hello, Dr. Zato? On the same question, what do you think? Commodification or monetization of political positioning? What do you think? Your line is cracking up again. You will want to reposition. Hello? Hello, Dr. Zato? Hello, Dr. Zato? Hello, Dr. Zato? We'll have to raise Dr. Zato back on the line so that we can have that conversation. But Dr. Santiotri, let me put this now to you. So the aftermath.
Sorry, John. Earlier on, you asked Dr. Zato about who was best qualified.
That's right. You want to take a bite on that?
Yes, because he obviously is an advocate of Dr. Bawumia. He's already done so on other media. But I'm of the view that, yes, Dr. Bawumia may be the leading candidate because in their own wisdom, he's more experienced. 8 years in opposition, 8 years in government, one as what's it called? A deputy flag bearer, so to speak.
Right.
The other one as a vice president.
That's right.
So obviously, at the highest level, he's had more experience. But what did the experience lead to? Obviously, it led to the collapse of the structures of the party. It led to a monumental loss of the party. In the 2024 election, that was not contested by the sitting president, but by the vice president. So that in itself is equally important in the argument for the leadership of the party. That aside, I'm of the view that the only reason why Dr. Bawumia could be chosen as the leader of the party is equally based upon two things or two factors that should come from the NDC, because these are the two main parties that have been contested. And those two things are the economy that the NDC is running under President Mahama, and then the transition. The economy as they are running, as much as it holds now, and it is relatively better than the previous regime, nobody will vote for Dr. Bawumia to become the next president. Though he may have been a certain vice president then, and may have been the most or the more experienced with respect to the candidates that are contesting him today.
Right.
And then the second, which is a transition, that is the internal bickering, possibly, that could rear its ugly head within the NDC if you don't handle that well. That transition from Mr. Mahama, His Excellency, to the next presidential candidate. If you don't handle it well, they will not be in a different position as the MPP is today. The rest are tangentials. Of course, the oral, the galamsey, those things. These are issues of governance. Of course, they may be able to nip them in the bud as they go along. But in effect, these are the two. So if the two are done properly, Dr. Bawumia's election will be inconsequential. But if they should change path and select a new person who is not much tainted, who doesn't have that much baggage like Dr. Bawumia, then the NDC will find it a little edgy. They will be found in a difficulty, as it were, as to how to handle such a new person. In the same vein, once the things are done properly along the line of the NDC, whoever they elect, they have the capacity to campaign and market that particular person. Right? So, I mean, it makes Dr. Bawumia's election, though an appropriate but a fair accomplishment if the NDC should get these two acts together. Yeah.
I see.
So you can ask your other question.
Well, my other question was to get into some other realms, but we have only 2 minutes, so we'll have to end it here and maybe continue the conversation some other time. But we are very grateful that you could speak to us this morning.
You're welcome, John.
That's Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ottring. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, also a political analyst. Helen, are you ready?
I'm ready. So today is when the balloting happens at the headquarters. That's where you choose who's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's right.
I don't expect it to be too eventful, or do you think it's going to be a hot one?
Well, it may or may not. I'm looking at the distribution list on the official letter that was written on October 7, inviting them for the balloting today. And in no